It was a rainy evening in late autumn, the kind where the world outside feels heavy and blurred, mirroring the storm brewing inside. I remember staring at Sarah across the dim-lit kitchen table, her hand resting on her slightly swollen belly, a soft glow on her face from the overhead light. My heart pounded like a drum in my chest, excitement, fear, a whirlwind of emotions crashing over me. The baby, it's mine, right? That night, I stammered, my voice barely above a whisper, replaying our passionate evening weeks ago in my mind. She looked up, her eyes wide, and then burst into laughter. No. I just ate too much, she said, patting her stomach with a grin. In that moment, my world tilted, but little did I know, this simple misunderstanding would unravel the threads of our lives, weaving them into something far stronger and more beautiful than I could have imagined. If you're hooked already, stick around. This story of love, loss, and unexpected redemption is one you won't forget. And if it touches your heart, hit that like button and subscribe for more tales that remind us why we keep fighting for what matters. We'd been together for 3 years, Sarah and I, high school sweethearts who somehow made it through the chaos of college and early adulthood. I was the dreamer, always sketching out plans for our future, a cozy house in the suburbs, kids running around, the whole picture-perfect life. Sarah was the grounded one, a nurse with a heart as big as the ocean, always putting others first. But lately, things had felt off. She was tired all the time, skipping our usual date nights, and yeah, she'd put on a little weight. I chalked it up to stress from her long shifts at the hospital, but that night, seeing her like that, my mind leaped to the obvious conclusion. Pregnancy. Fatherhood. A family. It terrified me, but it thrilled me too. When she laughed off my question, explaining it was just a massive burrito lunch from work that had her bloated, I felt like an idiot. We chuckled about it, but underneath, a seed of doubt planted itself. Was our relationship really ready for the next step? Or was I just projecting my own insecurities? The days that followed were a blur of normalcy laced with unspoken tension. I threw myself into my job as a graphic designer, burying my head in projects to avoid the nagging questions in my mind. Sarah noticed, of course, she always did. One evening, as we sat on the couch watching some mindless TV show, she turned to me with those piercing blue eyes. "Alex, what's going on? You've been distant since that night." I hesitated, then spilled it all. How I'd thought she was pregnant, how it made me realize I wanted that with her, but also how scared I was that we weren't on the same page. To my surprise, tears welled up in her eyes. "I want that too," she whispered, "but there's something I haven't told you." My stomach dropped. Was there someone else? A secret? She took a deep breath and explained, she'd been feeling unwell for months, not just tired from work. Doctor's visits, tests. Nothing conclusive yet, but she was worried it might be something serious, like an autoimmune disorder. That's why she'd been eating more, trying to keep her energy up, but the bloating and fatigue were symptoms she couldn't ignore. I felt like the ground had opened up beneath me. Here I was, obsessing over a silly misunderstanding, while she was carrying this burden alone. That revelation hit me like a freight train. Guilt washed over me, how had I not seen the signs? We talked for hours that night, crying, holding each other, promising to face whatever came next together. The next morning, I insisted on going with her to her specialist appointment. The waiting room was sterile, filled with anxious faces, and as we sat there hand in hand, I realized this was the real test of our love. Not some romantic notion of a baby, but standing by each other in the uncertainty of life. The doctor, a kind woman with graying hair, reviewed Sarah's charts and ordered more tests. "It could be nothing," she said, "or it might be celiac disease, which is manageable." But the waiting was agony. Days turned into weeks as we navigated blood work, biopsies, and endless Google searches that only fueled our fears. Sarah's symptoms worsened, she lost weight instead of gaining it, her energy plummeted, and simple tasks like cooking dinner became mountains. I stepped up, learning to make gluten-free meals, researching natural remedies, and just being there, listening when she vented, holding her when she cried. Our friends noticed the change. My best buddy, Mike, pulled me aside one day at a barbecue. "You two seem different. Everything okay?" I confided in him, and his advice stuck with me: life throws curveballs, man. It's not about avoiding them, it's about how you swing. Sarah's family rallied too. Her mom sent care packages, her sister offered to drive her to appointments. But the real challenge came when the diagnosis finally arrived: celiac disease, confirmed. It wasn't life-threatening, but it meant a complete overhaul of her diet, constant vigilance, and the emotional toll of feeling different. Sarah broke down that night, sobbing in my arms. "I feel broken, Alex. What if this changes everything? What if I can't give you the family you want?" I held her tight, whispering, "You're not broken. You're the strongest person I know. And we'll figure this out, one step at a time." Adapting wasn't easy. We purged our kitchen of anything with gluten, experimented with new recipes that often turned out disastrous at first, think rubbery bread and tasteless pasta. There were arguments, too, me getting frustrated when she accidentally ate something wrong and ended up sick, her snapping back that I didn't understand the constant fear. One particularly bad night, after she'd had a flare-up from a cross-contaminated meal at a restaurant, we yelled at each other until the words hung heavy in the air. "Maybe this is too much," she said through tears. "Maybe you deserve someone without all this baggage." I froze, the weight of her words crushing me. But instead of walking away, I knelt down, took her hands, and said, "Sarah, that night I thought you were pregnant. It wasn't just excitement, it was commitment. I choose you, baggage and all. We're in this together." We cried, forgave, and from that low point, things started to shift. Slowly, we found our rhythm. Sarah's health improved with the strict diet, her energy returned, the bloating vanished, and she even started running again, something she'd loved in college. I joined her, our morning jogs becoming a ritual where we'd talk about dreams we'd shelved, traveling to Europe, starting a small business together, and yes, someday, kids. But now, those dreams felt more real, grounded in the battles we'd fought. We sought counseling, too, to navigate the emotional scars, learning to communicate better, to lean on each other without resentment. One evening, months later, as we celebrated her 6-month celiac-versary with a homemade gluten-free feast, I got down on one knee. "Sarah, that silly mix-up about the baby opened my eyes to what really matters. Will you marry me?" Her yes was the sweetest sound I'd ever heard. Life didn't magically become perfect after that. Sarah still had bad days, flare-ups that reminded us of her condition's reality. But we faced them as a team, with humor and grace. We got married in a small ceremony by the lake, surrounded by loved ones who'd witnessed our journey. And when, a year later, we decided to try for a family, we did so with open eyes, genetic counseling, careful planning, knowing celiac could complicate things but not define them. Today, as I watch our little girl toddle around the living room, her laughter filling the air, I think back to that rainy night. What started as a comical misunderstanding became the catalyst for deeper love, resilience, and growth. This story isn't just ours, it's a reminder that life's biggest twists often come disguised as small moments. Misunderstandings can lead to profound truths, challenges to unbreakable bonds. If you've ever faced uncertainty in love or health, know this. You're stronger than you think, and the people who matter will stand by you. Keep pushing forward, embrace the mess, and watch how it transforms into something beautiful. If this tale moved you, give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories that celebrate the human spirit. What's your biggest life twist? Drop it in the comments below, let's connect. Until next time, remember, love isn't about perfection. It's about showing up, every single day.